Well, we've seen the video of the abuse, and then a lot of what's going on is talking about the abuse, and then now you got the racketeering and all. To do something different style of video, different of everybody. I don't want to put myself in. No way. Since I bring that report from day 7 of the Diddy trial, I haven't done anything at all because I've been so busy, guys. But yeah, today I'm just gonna give you a rundown of some of the stuff them that been progressing and been going on. So yeah, in the Diddy trial, we had day 9, we had the kid Cudi, we had Cassie's mom, which I spoke about, and then we had a few more people. I can't remember the name, but yeah. So Kid Cudi, he went on the stand, and they had a conversation with him, and basically he was talking about his relationship with Cassie, and talking about when Diddy found out and how upset he was, and him getting a phone call to say that Diddy was at his house, and him going to his house and seeing his dog locked up in the bathroom when the dog is normally free around the place, and how after the incident happened, the dog was different, and because he said when he got to the house, Diddy wasn't there. So he rang Diddy and was like, what the fuck? Excuse the language, what the F? And, Diddy was saying that he just wanted to talk to him. So, all of that went down. And then he said he was out of town, I think. Then he got a phone call from one of his neighbors or his dog walker, said that his car was on fire. Got there, see the roof of the car cut open, cars, was burnt out. So in his mind, he's thinking that this was, the work of Diddy. So we don't know what happened, so we can't say that Diddy was the one that done it, and Kid Cudi didn't say that Diddy was the one that done it, but he said that he thinks that he was the one that done it. And a few back and forth, they had a few meetings and stuff like that. Then when the defense went to go question him, basically close to the end, the defense was saying, do you think that, do you feel like you got played? And basically he was saying that, yeah, he think that Cassie was playing both him and Diddy, because he didn't know that she was still, even though they were together, he didn't know that she was still doing stuff with Diddy, as far as she knew that her and Diddy weren't together. So that was that with what went on with the child, with the Kid Cudi's testimony. And then apparently there's another woman that's supposed to be a witness, but she can't be found. Everyone is saying that she can't be found nowhere at all. They're looking for this woman and she can't be found. So we're gonna watch and see what's gonna turn up there. Who knows where she is? Who knows what's happening to her? And this is where the trial, take a different turn. And then you hear like celebrities' names get called up, like Usher, Neo, Jimmy Iovine, said that they were in a setting where they're having dinner or lunch, and Diddy like punch Cassie in the stomach, and they were there and none of them did or say anything. So there's a long line of where there's stuff that happened to Cassie, and people saw people and didn't do nothing at all about it. And then there was a testimony of the makeup artist, who said that one time Cassie stayed at her house because and she said she could see the bruise and stuff like that on Cassie, because her and Diddy had something, and where so a lot of the case you can see the abuse. Well, we've seen the video of the abuse, and then a lot of what's going on is talking about the abuse, and then now you got the racketeering. They're trying to build a case on the racketeering, but we know that Diddy might do some time in prison no matter what, because if he don't go down for the racketeering and stuff like that, it will probably definitely go down for the abuse and all of that. So they're trying to build a case to say that Diddy used his enterprise's money. That's the part where it comes with the racketeering. Like one of his personal assistants is saying that that was like did his world, and everybody because people didn't want to lose their job, or because people didn't want to, get on his wrong side. They initially did what he required them to do. Um, Regardless what's happening, regardless if they see, people getting hurt and stuff like that, they had to do what, because people were more cared about their jobs more than their moral. Seeing a young girl get beat up and stuff like that, sometimes the job is not even worth it, or you're gonna step in and stop it. You're gonna step in and stop it. And how long are you gonna watch this thing carry on for? What are you gonna do? Wait until she's dead or something? What, because you're getting a little bit of money? But yeah, then again, I'm not gonna be blaming anybody for doing. You do you, you do you. But I'm saying, for from a moral point, why would you want to do that? Why would you want to stick around? Seeing stuff like that happening. So anyway, as we move on, it's a long weekend, so they're gonna resume back tomorrow, and they got more people. I'm wondering, as the government, as the prosecution, got any more like big time witnesses that's coming up, because like they said, they've got like 6 to 8 weeks of this, and we're in week 2, and it's going slowly but surely. It's going. And like all of these allegations against P Diddy, he's said that he's innocent, not guilty. So that's why we're there at court. So allegedly, all of what's going on, what we say in the media is allegedly, because he's not proven guilty as yet. On some things that we've seen, then we can say, we can put our own judgment and say, yeah, he's guilty of beating Cassie up because we've seen it in the video. So that's that. Now we move on. Like I said, I didn't get to talk about a lot of the stuff, so this is just a quick rundown. Tory Lanes, everybody knew Tory Lanes, got stabbed while he was in prison, got stabbed 14 times, and now I hear that Tory Lanes has been transferred. But, the thing I can't get is, like, a lot of people are saying that, oh, yeah, free Tory Lanes. Yeah, because he got stabbed, but a lot of people want him to get released and stuff like that. Yeah, he did a crime, then he's going to have to do the time, regardless what happened in the prison. The thing that I want to ask about is, why is Tory Lane in G-pop? Why is he in G-pop? You get what I mean? You're a celebrity, mate. And I get it. A lot of people saying that a lot of celebrities, that they don't have the freedom as when they're in G-pop. And for some reason, I don't know what Tory Lane has done to somebody. Why does somebody want to hurt Tory Lane? As far as all of us can see, Tory Lane is a nice guy. He just does his rap music and does his thing, but we don't know what's going on behind the scenes and stuff like that. And I'm glad that nothing didn't. Well, I can't say nothing didn't happen to him. Yeah, he got stabbed up. I'm glad that he didn't die. And, I'm glad that he's out. Apparently, they've moved him to a different prison. And I'm hoping that he'll be safer there. The government needs to do a better job of keeping people safe while they're in prison. I know it's a hard job, hard task to do, but they need to do a better job. And, Tory Lanez, get well, soon, and get back to your full strength and everything. And one thing I want to ask is, like, the amount of time that Tory Lanez got, we're wondering if what went on there. Why did Tory Lanez get so much time? Because at the end of the day, we've seen the news and seen it a lot of times where people go down for murder or do more than what Tory Lanez did, and they got lesser time. Regular people, not celebrity, regular people, and they get lesser time. People from different backgrounds and different culture and stuff like that, they get lesser time for doing that. There's people that freaking, do some crazy stuff out there, and I've got less time than what Tory Lanez got. So, we don't know. We don't know what's going on, but Tory Lanez, get well soon, and I know it's hard in there, and you just want to do your time and get out, but just hold your head down and do your thing and keep your eyes out, because I don't know if I don't know who's out there to get you. Apparently, the person that done hurt Tory Lanez got charge and stuff like that. So we'll watch and see how that goes out. Now we're back talking about Papoose and REMY Ma. This one here is something that I looked on and I said, in this we see Papoose, he's come out and in the media and he's saying that, REMY Ma literally cheated on him just as she came out of prison with somebody who was in prison with with a woman. So, and then he was, basically saying that he wrote a lot of REMY Ma's rhymes and stuff like that. So, this back and forth thing with them two, because it's a shame to see what happened to them, because we saw how good they were together, in the beginning. We don't know if that was a game, that was just for show, but, as far as we see what Papoose is doing with his new girlfriend, that was near enough the same thing that he was doing with REMY Ma. Being there, being that supportive husband, that supportive man, and just being there and trying to elevate their life and make them better. Because we've seen him in his new girl's corner, and he done the same thing with REMY Ma. And it's just one of them cases where it's like you try to be a good guy, try to be the good person, and you end up getting the shitty end of the stick all the time. And I'm not saying that Papoose is innocent in anything, but we saw, and as far as I heard, REMY Ma was the first one who cheated on him, and now we got the back and forth and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that they find some common ground where they can be at peace with each other, where there's no back and forth, or me talk about you or you talk about me in the media on a regular basis. But yeah, that thing there needs to stop. They need to cut it out, and just move on with their life. And Papoose is over there with his girl, and REMY Ma is over there with whoever. I don't even know who she's with at the moment, and I don't even know what she's doing at the moment. But just move on, do your thing, and everybody just have a nice life. You don't have to talk about each other. Yeah, you're gonna get asked stuff in the media on a regular basis, but you don't even really have to talk about that. I'm telling you right now, you don't even really need to talk about it. You just let it go and go on, because if it's going to cause this argument, because trust me, you guys were so good. There were so much people that was in love with your marriage, was in love with the couple that you are, and then we find out all of this with the cheating and the this and the that. And as far as I see, Papoose portrayed, sorry, a good guy. You get what I mean? One of them good guys who's ride or die for his woman, and everybody know, yeah, Papoose is a thug dude. So a lot of people didn't expect that soft, vulnerable side of him portraying out on the media, and then it just looked like he got played by Remy, allegedly. You get what I mean? I'm just saying that because, like we said, everything was pointing to she cheating on him first. So we just need to hear what she's saying, and who cheated and who first and who was there. But we saw, she did a bid. Papoose was there for a bit. She's even talked about it. He was there right through the bid. And he was there when she came out. And now we see him with somebody else, and he's, she's not doing a bid, but, he's there with her when she's doing her training, and everything is there with her. And he's just portraying that person who's somebody who's ready to be down for his woman, ready to have his woman's back, or ready to stand beside her like how a man's supposed to do for his woman. You know what I mean? And that's what Papoose is portraying, and that's what we're seeing in the media. And as far as I see, that is a good person. That is somebody who loves the person that they're with and want to see that person successful. Even if it means that he's going to take a day out of his success or what he's doing in his life to make sure that you elevate over there. He knows what he can do, and he know what level he can go at, and he know that, yeah, I can take a day out of here. I can go write some rhymes later or do something later, but let me come over here and see what my girl is doing, and let me help her elevate, or even just be there as support, moral support. And we've seen that time and time with REMY Ma, and we've seen that with his new girl. So, but yeah, we don't know what's going on. So, but yeah, New York Knicks fans were shook. They were shook a bit because, they went 2 down at home and they were going to Indiana. But guess what happened last night? The New York Knicks done a new record where they came back from 20 points down in the fourth quarter, and they won the game. So now the series is 2-1, and then we see what's going to happen. And it's the same thing over Oklahoma and the Timberwolves the Ant-Man turned up, and then it's 2-1 over there as well. So as the series keep on going, we're gonna keep our eyes on there. So guys, yeah, this is just my little rundown of what been going on in the media that I was trying to catch up with, and now I'm glad that I've caught up. So now we can move on from here, because trust me, I've been so busy with my clothing brand. As you guys can see, the Board Members Inc. is out popping at the moment right now. So I've just been focusing on that a lot, so that's why guys haven't seen me on here as much. I just want to say thanks to all the people that's been stuck with me, and all of you new ones that are watching. Guys, don't forget to hit the subscription button, because we're going to be doing more and more and more of these videos as much as we can. And then the brand is out here, and it's doing its thing. Thank you guys again for watching, and yo,